Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk News. I'm your host, Leticia Remauro, and it is Sunday, October 5th, and NBC is still the most ridiculous, lying news media that there is broadcasting. Um, had to get that off my chest. How is everybody? What have you been doing this weekend? And it's been an interesting weekend. We've heard a lot about the shutdown, the government shutdown. We've heard a lot from Speaker Johnson, Senate Speaker Thune. We've heard, oddly, not so much from Democrats about what's going on, although have heard from John Fetterman that he believes that his party has lost its mind and that their constant name calling for Republicans is not doing them any good. And I agree. We have a few of you. Hello, Kevin Young. How are you? Good to have you with us tonight. So we're eager to hear from everyone. Hello, Gloria. Good to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. If you are new to Let's Talk News, please just type out your comments. Whether you agree or you don't, let's start the conversation. Your comments are going to get the conversation rolling. I'll show a few clips to maybe drive the conversation a little bit. But tonight's conversation is going to be about the New York City mayor's campaign. Because believe it or not, we have less than 3 weeks until early voting starts in that campaign. 3 weeks. And we have some issues with respect to what's going on with that campaign. Hello, Angela Ricca. How are you? And Andrew Dorman has joined us. Good to see you. And my dear sister Colleen, how are you, darling? There are really some real problems going on in that campaign because we've got a three-way race, right? And it looks like Mamdani is running away with it. And, well, I know that nobody really wants to look at polls, and I'm with you. I don't care for polls that much, but I just want to show you something. Let's see how this comes up on the screen. Um, let's see. Is that going to come up? Oh, it's not going to come up. Oh, let's see. Why won't that come up? I have to figure out how to get this up on our screen. You know what? I'm going to have to probably share my screen to see it. Just give me a second, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves because I don't know why this is not popping up. I'm going to try one more time. Nope. Okay, it's not going to do it. Let's see. It's not there. It's not there. Oh, maybe it's here. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can move it to here. Maybe this is the one. They changed their format, and so maybe this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is the new poll out with Adams and without Adams. And I want you to take a look. Mamdani's numbers don't move, right? He's got 45%. But Adams, 8%, almost all of it went to Cuomo. Almost all of it. So 2% went to Curtis and the rest went to Cuomo. That's big. That's something we have to talk about because will Curtis's people go to Cuomo if Curtis backs out? Or will Cuomo's people go to Curtis if Cuomo backs out? What's the more likely scenario? Hello, Francine. Good to have you with us. And hello, Missy. Good to see you. Holy moly, it's been a while. Good to have you with us. Tell me if Mamdani wins, New Yorkers will have to stop eating bacon. Listen, if Mamdani wins, New Yorkers won't have enough money to buy bacon. So that's the problem. And the thing is that you have this whole thing is a game of numbers. The Democrats far outpace the Republicans. Far outpace. Curtis is his 13% is just about where we are with Republicans. That's the number of Republican votes that a Republican gets, period. He did a little better last time. He did, I think it was 17%. Or maybe 19% the last time, and you can check me on it. Maybe Nicole did 16%, but you're not going to see, or you haven't seen, a Republican breaking 20% since Bloomberg. And that was three cycles. Oh, no, that's not true. He wasn't a Republican the last time, right? He was an independent. So the last time, but it was Republican for his second term. And before that, Giuliani. And that's it. And that's it. So if you have 13%, that's all there is for the Republicans, then how is it not going to be blamed on Curtis that if Mamdani wins this election? Somebody tell me how. I don't see it, because Cuomo has 31%. He picked up Adams' majority, the majority of Adams. So, and he's got a lot of the independent votes. The Democrat votes are locked up with Mamdani. So how does this work? I don't understand it. I don't think Cuomo cares, because he's ahead and everybody's going to say he tried his best. And at the end of the day, you know how New York is. New York is, I'm just watching The Gilded Age. If you're not with the in crowd, you're in the out crowd. And Curtis has never been with the in crowd. But boy, will they hang him. They'll freaking hang him from the ceiling joists if Mamdani wins, and he was too stubborn to get out. Curtis should back out to keep New York City from becoming communist. That's the whole thing. He says it himself, and I'm going to play, I want to play the clip of Curtis first. Let me see where my clips are. Okay, here's the clip of Curtis first, all right? I want you to listen to what he has to say, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it, okay?
President Trump says a communist mayor in New York City is the best thing that could happen to Republicans. But Zohran Mamdani says he's not a communist.
Number one, he's attacking you as a communist. Are you?
No, I'm a Democratic Socialist. That means I believe in dignity for all people.
Is that what that means? His platform suggests otherwise, with freezing rent and creating city-owned grocery stores, just to name a couple of policies. Polls show him, though, leading by a lot, with and without Eric Adams in the race. Joining me now is New York City Republican mayoral candidate. It is Curtis Sliwa. Curtis, great to see you. Thank you for being here with us today. I have seen several interviews with you, and you're always on the defense about why you're in the race. And I've seen your answers. The polls are wrong, and I can win. My goal with you here today isn't to put you on defense, but I want to first ask you, why do you think you can win, and what would you do for New York?
Because now that Eric Adams is out, so 1 down, 2 to go, I'm the only law and order candidate. Who's the only one who backs the blue? Who's the only one who believes in keeping a prison open? You have Cuomo and Zohran who share the same opinion. They believe in no cash bail. They believe in closing prisons. So if you want to preserve New York City that is suffering a crime increase, you have to have a law and order mayor like Rudy Giuliani 2.0. So somebody's got to hold the line for Republican patriotic principles. Now, our president said, well, it's the best thing that ever happened to the Republican Party. I very respectfully would suggest to the president that if they can take New York City, the socialists, they will intend on trying to take every urban area across America.
Right.
We can stop them here. Look, Cuomo had his chance. He lost. He got clobbered. It's time for the Republicans to take on the threat to New York City.
I've heard you make that argument, Curtis, and I think your arguments are all very legitimate. I really would like to get inside your mind, though, on what you think about Zohran Mamdani. Here across America, we look at this and we can't believe that New York City is considering a candidate like Zohran Mamdani. And what I'm curious from your perspective, because you just brought up Cuomo as well, do you see, and I understand that you want to win and you think that you can win your race for mayor, do you see or think that Cuomo is any better than Mamdani?
Not at all. He led to Zohran Mamdani by him being so far to the left, closing prisons, no cash bail, turning criminals loose. It opened up a pathway for the Democratic Socialists, and now Cuomo doesn't know
Curtis,
how to deal with it.
If you didn't win, just by hypothetical, you don't think New York City would be any better or worse off should it be Cuomo or Mamdani?
Excuse me, Will. Cuomo said he would flee to Florida. So let's get real. He's already surrendered. I stand and I fight. Remember John Paul Jones said, I have just begun to fight.
You know, the reason I ask you that,
let me tell you
I just want to tell you, I'm going to let you say, but the reason I ask you that, Curtis, is what I'm hearing from you is you do not see that one is better than the other. While the rest of the country sits here today and says, wow, if Curtis drops out, he gives Cuomo a chance to beat this socialist, to beat this communist. You are telling the nation, even if I get out, all that means is you get Cuomo, and he's just as bad as Mamdani. Am I hearing you correctly, Curtis?
Absolutely. You want to give it to a Democrat? It's the Democrats who created this catastrophe. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and now Zohran Mamdani. And you want to leave it to the Democratic Party that basically allowed the chicken coop to be invaded by the fox? They had their chance, the Democrats, they blew it. And Will, you said initially, how can we let a communist or a socialist take over New York City? I'll take 100 people right on this block and ask them, do they even know the difference between a communist or socialist or what they are? That's because they don't teach civics in school, history, current events. I change all that. You want Rudy Giuliani 2.0, you vote for Curtis Sliwa. You want more socialism, you want more decay, you vote for Cuomo, you vote for Zohran Mamdani. It's the same thing. The same thing.
All right, Curtis, we wish you the best of luck.
So I agree with a lot of what Curtis said, but there's a big but in there. You know, if the Adams people had split his way, I'd say, okay, that message is catching on. But they didn't split his way. In fact, there were some Republicans, clearly by the percentages, right? Because we just discussed that the Republican percentage in mayoral races is anywhere between 13 to 17%. So if they had split Curtis's way, I would say, okay, we've got a horse race here, and maybe, Cuomo needs to think about going out. But that didn't happen. What happened was 2% went to Curtis, which was, it bumped him from the 11, which was low for a Republican, to 13. And then the rest went to Cuomo. So now you got to ask yourself, are there Republicans that would vote for Curtis? Would that 13% hop over to Cuomo? And if it did, we'd have a neck and neck race. Actually, Cuomo would be a little bit ahead of Mamdani. New York will be begging Trump to bring in military the first year with Mamdani. More cops will be killed. Murders will rise along with rapes and robberies. Absolutely. I mean, and Joe said it. I mean, they're calling themselves Democrat Socialists because it sounds better than communists. And thanks for joining us, Joe. Beer Nuts is with us. Hello, Beer Nut. How are you? And I know that our people come from all over to watch our show, but why are we focusing on the mayor's race? Because it's not just about New York City, even though I know a lot about New York City politics. It's because, Curtis was right. If New York City goes socialist, then big cities all across the nation are going to go socialist. And the problem that we have, too, is that Mamdani's money, 78% of Mamdani's money came from outside of New York City, outside of New York State. That's crazy. See, Mamdani, AOC, Max Rose, they were Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, who is the other one? There's a couple of others. They were a part of the big cabal that Nancy Pelosi put together in, was it 2018 it was, to get rid of Republicans and to get this Democrat socialist in. And I'm sure she was paid a pretty penny for it. That's how her net worth, I think she's up to $475 million now. So this is all part of the same crew, and they're all coming out of New York City. And we talked about this the other day. Isn't it interesting? We have both Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer out in New York City, and now they're talking about AOC challenging Schumer. Is that she wouldn't be the speaker? She wouldn't just step into his role because she'd be brand new in the Senate, and she wouldn't be the minority leader in the Senate. But are they going to back her to do that? Mamdani says violence isn't real; it's just a social construct. Lunatic. He doesn't need to be real. This is the Truman Show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hollywood. He does not have to be real. All he has to do is keep on saying the buzzwords that are going to get young people who's, all are indoctrinated to follow him. They don't understand. I mean, if you take a look at the polls, people are saying that socialism is better than capitalism. And I don't think half of them even know what it means. Mamdani should be investigated. Yes, they all should. I mean, we need to really trace this crap back. These candidates that were created out of nothing, that were created out of nowhere, come out of nowhere, and now are in our legislature. That is scary. Something sinks bin Mamdani's money. Oh, what 100% something sinks there. He says violence isn't real. Yeah, I something really stinks in Mamdani's money, and we need to investigate that. But somebody needs to put in a complaint. I mean, it's New York. So it's the New York City Campaign Finance Board, right? That is overseeing this race, and supposedly they can each only get I forget how many. They got to raise a million. No, that's borough president. I can't remember how much they can spend, but it's not a lot. But they can have PACs spend money on their behalf, and PACs don't have to disclose who they're working for or pushing for, but as long as they don't coordinate with the campaign. So who's going down the campaign finance board to say, where is this money coming from? Curtis's money is mostly all, I think out of all of them, he has the most from small donors in New York. Enough with this cashless bail for starters. Is that too much to ask? Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. It is not too much to ask, but how did we even get there? And we had the bail queen on the other day. And by the way, thank you, Corey Stephen, for asking that question. Thanks for joining us. We had the bail queen on the other day. And she told us where it started, and I was with her trying to defend and stop it from starting. It started with Chris Christie in New Jersey, and the reason that it all started was because of George Soros, the Vera Institute, and NGOs all around the country who George Soros funded. And why? The big question when we were trying to fight it was why? Why did he want to go to the cashless bail system? Because that what they were showing to the public was, these poor people, they're too poor to post bail. No, wrong. Just a little Reader's Digest. People don't post their own bail. Somebody else has to post it. The reason that people were languishing in jail is mostly when somebody is a recidivist, then they keep on getting out. And they go back to their family and they terrorize their family 9 times out of 10. Or whether it's their wife, their mother, their sister, their brother, whoever has been giving them aid and comfort, they go back and terrorize them or their neighborhood. And at a certain point, the family says, you know what? He or she is hooked on drugs. We need to keep them in jail so that they get sober. Or I can't do it anymore. We're not going to keep taking that person, and we're not bailing them out anymore. So that's the whole thing with cashless bail. Unfortunately, the PR campaign that they had was better than the PR campaign that we had, and there was a good reason for it, because most law-abiding citizens don't understand the inner workings of the justice system because they never had to go through it. So they don't understand bail. They don't understand cashless bail. They don't understand, what makes a criminal, and that the majority of people in jail have committed more than one crime, actually more than 5 crimes. Those are the majority of people that are still in jail have committed more than 5 crimes, because there's a problem. There's a problem. But they were able to play on the heartstrings of people who are good, and just, these poor people, we want to give them a chance. Well, look at what that happened with that chance. It's like the 4,000 Muslims that went to Persia, and look what happened. It is now Iran. So doesn't Curtis' campaign finance show that he is truly ahead with New Yorkers? If it's outside money for the others, then it doesn't represent votes. That is true. It doesn't represent votes. Yes. Now, Curtis has the most small donor numbers. Okay, most of his money was raised by small donors inside of New York to be matched. Okay, as far as Cuomo is concerned, more than Mamdani and Cuomo, all 3 have made matching funds. Okay, the outside money again is in PACs and in special interest groups and in unions and things like that. Does money represent votes? Not always. Not always. Look, I had more donors than Vito Ficella. Didn't translate, did it, Carl? Hello, Ramon. Unfortunately, the justice system in the state is broken. The justice system across America is broken. So let's hear from, and this is the first time we're hearing from him, and I'm interested, was Cuomo. And this is not his whole interview. If you want to see the whole interview, watch Maria Bartiromo. You can find it on YouTube on Fox. But anyway, listen to Cuomo.
What do you want to say to those skeptics who don't want Mamdani but are not sure that you're going to do what they want either because they blame you for cashless bail, sir?
Yeah. Well, the cashless bail law that I passed was 6 years ago, Maria. They changed it about 4 times since then. So whatever changes they wanted to make, they have made. And I think what New Yorkers are looking for is they want a competent official who can get the city in order, who can run the city. You're talking about a mayoral position, right? It's an operational position. They get that we're losing people, we're losing businesses, that taxes are too high, the city is unsafe, and they want someone who can come in and manage the city, do the job. They know me as governor. They know that I know how to make government work. I know how to make government effectuate change. I did a lot of big projects, new LaGuardia Airport, new Kennedy, Kosciuszko Bridge, Mario Cuomo Bridge, passed a lot of big pieces of legislation that were national firsts, dealt with many disasters and emergencies, COVID, Hurricane Sandy, and my opponent, 33 years old, 2-term assemblyman, passed 3 bills, worst attendance record in the legislature. Never ran anything. Mayor of New York should not be your first job, Maria. There's no time for on-the-job training. When any given morning, God forbid, you could have a mass murder or a terrorist attack. So New Yorkers get that. They know how important the mayor is and how you really need to know what you're doing.
How did this happen, Andrew? How is it possible that Mamdani has so much support? I mean, look, you heard what Peter Schweitzer is reporting, that 78% of his money is coming from outside the state. And all of those people who, are backing him right now, are they true New Yorkers, or have they been living here for 30 days?
Yeah, no, they're not New Yorkers. As the numbers show, this is a national effort, Maria. This is a civil war within the Democratic Party. Remember when the Republican Party had the Tea Party and that was the extreme right? Well, we have an extreme left, and they call themselves the Democratic Socialists. And they are trying to take over the Democratic Party. And this is a nationwide movement. And they raise money nationwide. They mobilize nationwide. They send volunteers in from all across the United States. And Mamdani is just a banner carrier for that movement. They just want to win the mayoralty as a crown that says their movement is the dominant movement. That's what this is about. But socialism does not work in New York City, right? We're all about business. We're all about entrepreneurship and opportunity. And you raise taxes and demonize corporations, they will leave.
What do you want to do? Stopping socialism aside, what will Mayor Andrew Cuomo do?
First, we have to grow business. We have to provide jobs. That's opportunity. That's hope. That's aspiration. That's what makes New York, New York. Second, the city has to be safe, Maria. You have to be able to take the subway without worrying whether or not you're going to make it to the other side. I want to hire 5,000 police, what I call a cop on the block and a cop on the train. We have defunded the police to the lowest level in modern history. I want to add the 5,000, which will take us back to where we were under Mayor Dinkins and Rudy Giuliani. That's full force. Third, build, baby, build. We need affordable housing, and we have to build it, 50,000 units a year. We know how to do it. We just need competent government to make it happen.
All right. Andrew.
Build, baby, build. Holy moly. Doesn't that sound like somebody? He's touting Coven where he murdered all those people. Yeah, he certainly is. There will be a lot more terror in New York City if Mamdani gets elected. You are right. You are right. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things. Curtis Sliwa touched on something about changing the way what's taught in the classroom. Just a reminder that the mayor of New York City cannot do that. Only the governor can. That is a state issue, the curriculum. And Cuomo said that he wanted to put a cop on the train. He cannot do that. As mayor of New York City, the transit belongs to the MTA. And that's controlled by the governor. 50K units per year. Yeah, exactly. Well, look at all the migrants that are living there. Look at all the migrants that Adams let in there. But I want to talk about something else other than that whole situation where he wants to build affordable housing. How is it going to work, him with Hochul? Is there going to be a relationship there, a simpatico? See, Cuomo isn't going wrong direction. First, you got to get rid of socialists before everything. Well, the whole city council, except for maybe 5, are socialists. That's the problem. The best that we could do at this moment is halt it. But the city council right now is being run by socialists, has been for the last 4 years. Where are they getting all this money from? Taxing us more? To do Mamdani's projects or to do what Cuomo was saying? Because here's the thing. Mamdani said it, and he means it. He wants to do more taxing in the white neighborhoods, which means Staten Island, ladies and gentlemen. It means Staten Island. You know, the only white neighborhoods left are in Staten Island. There are no white neighborhoods in New York. So Cuomo, where's Cuomo getting the money from? You mean to build affordable housing? I'm not sure what you're talking about. But Mamdani, he's talking about, he thinks he's going to tax the rich, and he thinks that he's going to change the way the property tax structure works. And he can, because the mayor can do that. As you know, there was just a hearing on that whole thing, and there's home rule. Even though property taxes are supposed to be done by the state, the mayor of New York City has a lot to say about that. So, but I want to go back. What happens if Cuomo gets in? What will Hochul do? What will Tish James do? What will Jumaane Williams do? Because all of them were in cahoots together to get rid of Cuomo. Wouldn't it be interesting? What's going to happen? I don't know. But I do know that there are people out there who are voting for Cuomo who will not vote for Curtis, and they will sit it out. And there are people who are voting for Curtis that will not vote for Cuomo. They will sit it out. The question is, though, in a two-person race, can Cuomo catch some old-time Democrats and drag them back from Mamdani? Hochul was elected. She was not elected the first time, but she was elected the second time. That's when I left New York. Yes, for housing. Oh, so the housing, unfortunately, there's a law in the books, the Obama law, that mandates that every city has to have affordable housing. As a matter of fact, they're pushing Charleston for it now. It's federal money. And there's no way for Trump to claw that back unless they pass a new law on that. He says no single person should own a home. My dad is 82. And what happens to him in his house if Mamdani wins? Well, look, they can't get you out unless eminent domain, right? They can't take your home unless eminent domain. And that's not going to happen. There's no reason for it. And even if there was a reason for it, let's just say they were putting a road through, you could exhaust, your rights in court. But if they're going to take your home, they have to pay you for it. They can't just take it. They have to pay fair market value for it. But they have to show reason. All right. So anyway, we've gone over as usual. So think about it. If you're a Curtis supporter, think about whether or not why didn't he get all of the 8% of Adams? Why did he only get 2? To bring him just up to the bare minimum that Republicans get in citywide races. And if you're a Cuomo supporter and he dropped out, would you ever vote for Curtis Sliwa or would you go to Mamdani? It's an interesting question. All right, everybody. So I will see you tomorrow. Let's see what happens if there's another vote for the budget. I don't mind so much that the government's shut down. I think it's fine. I'm hoping that they go to April 16th so I don't have to pay taxes. That rats will come out of the subway into the streets with Mamdani. They already have been. Good show and good night. Thanks, Andrew Dorman. Thank you all for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, especially on YouTube. And I will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Take it easy, everybody.